Welcome back to the Schmeat Nation 3 podcast. Week 4 has come and gone, entering in the week 5 iteration of the podcast already at this point. Insane. As always, I am Kieran Kale, Commissioner, and with me is Adam Rocket of the Fighting Deans. How you doing, Adam?
First quarter of the season down. Sad to say it already, but did not set myself up in a great spot. But we keep grinding, we make the moves. Hopefully we can bring it back, start to get in that right column.
And moves indeed have been made. We'll start off talking about the trades won last week to try and help you take me down. I might have nearly got you there. Without it, I can't remember. I didn't do all the little maths. And then another just before the pod, being nice to us this time. And then we'll
Yeah.
run through everything else we do. So let's jump in, show it all to everyone. Talk to me about the thought process behind last week's trade first, and then we'll get into this other one.
Yeah. Yeah. So last week's trade, I felt like the only assets that I had on my team that I was gonna be able to get the most back for was Devonta Smith and Jalen Hurts, and I desperately needed running back. So I tried to get one of his other guys. I think I was fighting for ETN, but we ended on Swift, Wilson, and then I also was able to get Laporta in there, so I can get that the loser of Darren Waller out of my starting lineup because that has not been a fun ride so far.
Yeah, overall, it seems pretty fair to me. I just feel like it's a lot easier, as we've seen throughout the years, to kind of get a serviceable QB. And obviously, JSN hasn't really done a whole lot. So, kind of the biggest blow is Devonta Smith, but Garrett Wilson should be able to slot in on,
Mm-hmm.
some weeks. I think he might have already done a little bit better. I can't remember what's
I
the
think they
good.
were about the
Oh
same.
yeah,
I
14-8.
think Garrett Wilson had 15 last week, which I was really nervous about the Garrett Wilson thing, but it does look like it's only 1 week, but Garrett Wilson or Zach Wilson didn't look terrible in that game, so I'm hoping that's kind of more of what it looks like going forward. And then this second trade was something that I tried to get done before our matchup. And I think if I did get this matchup done, well, DJ Moore had a big week, so that really helped me put closer to you. But starting, what's his name? Bryce Young didn't want to be having
Yeah.
to deal with that moving forward. So I'm just happy to give up DJ Moore. I've gone with all my stock in the Chicago Bears now. So hopefully this is just a little bit more consistent.
Probably a smart thing to do. This one always, like when you first look at it, you're like, oh man, that's just like so good for Seth. But you have to do what you got to do when you're at your point. And
Mm-hmm.
I take it from me, the wire quarterbacks are fucking bad, as I've had to
Yeah.
pick them up this time.
I
So I
had
think you'll be
Zach
set.
Wilson in my lineup this week ahead of so I was glad to be able to get this done.
Get a little stack. So we'll run through the trade on the other sides when we're looking at teams. Let's make a note to pull up Seth and Eddie, and let's jump into last week. First, looking at the podcast bowl of ours. We might get an ad. I can't remember if it does ad on this. No, it does not. Okay, perfect. I only took you down by 10. So yeah, I'm sure there's some QB out on the wire, but you
Mm-hmm.
stuck with Bryce Young.
Yeah,
A good
I was
performance from you
Bryce
too.
Young going up against Minnesota, so I was kind of hoping that bad defense might make him look a little bit better, but it just straight up didn't. And then just right away getting the value from DeAndre Swift there off the trade, it would have sucked again to play. Um, what's his face, Tyler Algier, because it would have sucked to
Oh
wake
my
up
God,
to
yeah.
2.2 points. So I was very happy about that. On your end, I mean, just AJ Brown doing AJ Brown things. Not much you can do to overcome that.
Yeah, that's nice. The -6 was just like a 12-point swing from the defense against Houston too. That team looks
Yeah,
legit. I thought Steelers D was good, but not great.
yeah. I also didn't think the Rams O line was going to be as good for the running back as they are, but Kieran Williams continues to just dominate. I think he's like running back two or something, two, three.
He's grinding something like that. Three.
Yeah,
Not bad to have. Not bad to have.
yeah,
One of those
especially
top
as an
guys.
undrafted guy.
Will really test the depth of my team moving into this week. GG, closer game than I thought.
Yeah,
And honestly, when you're at like I've tried to take a new mental approach to fantasy and looking at the bottom six teams in our league, maybe this will be relevant to a lot of you, but it's like you just have to trust the process. Like it should come to fruition at some point.
mm,
Like, because you put up a ton of points and you would have beat most of the league. You can't get too down. So it's
yeah,
still so early. You can start really tilting later.
yeah. I mean, even in the past in our league, we've had people. I mean, Eddie last year I think was at 1-7, and then he almost made it back to the playoffs. Brad the year he won, he was at I think 2-7, snuck into the playoffs and won. So it's always doable. There's
Yeah,
always a
yeah,
path.
definitely. Coming into a real bad beat here. I think
Yeah,
Eddie on Monday night needed Ken Walker, 15 obviously, and couldn't get it.
nah,
So
not quite.
bummer there, but Max secures his first W. Props to him on the back of some monster performances surrounded by a bunch of mid to low performances compared to Eddie's just kind of consistency here.
Yeah. I tried trading for both Josh Jacobs and Devon Achan last week, so
Wow.
it would have been nice to have those guys, but Max held strong, and look at where he is now, getting his first win.
Propelled him to a victory. I forgot he had Monty on the bench, so this would have
Yeah,
felt real bad for Max if he didn't get the W. A tough loss. I think we both took Eddie to continue. Obviously, we didn't know about the trade, but he got 10 extra points, it looks like. I don't think any of the other guys like Mondo exploded,
yeah.
so
He would have had Swift in there instead of maybe Romeo Dobbs or
yeah,
Adam
which
Thielen.
wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, it
Unless
really
you didn't
comes down
feel
to
it.
the
Yeah.
defense and the special teams from him, but then they didn't really perform for Max's side. So I don't know. This is just a close one, a one that really just sucks to lose because both teams didn't put up that much.
Especially because Ken Walker had points early, I'm pretty sure. Like he got a touchdown in the first half, if I'm remembering it right. Like you had to assume at that part that you're feeling well, but couldn't squeak it out. So good work to Max, gets his first win. We'll look at the standings after this because it's pretty funny. Jumping into an absolute domination. Had to rewatch the video because I was like, why the fuck did I choose Parker? I've been shitting on this guy's team the whole time. But I guess I was just trying to get in your head a little bit. But Brad secures a Mondo W here. 146 from him, one of the top scores on the week. 26 from the Cowboys D, which we've just started to get used to now, even with a goose.
Yeah, I mean, just all of the Minnesota weapons from Brad's team doing nothing this week. Not really getting much from the running backs, and the running backs are starting to be a question mark for Brad here. But the Jamison Williams shortening of the suspension throws a little interesting little wrench in there for him. Could be cool. See if he plays him this week.
And we know Brad is not afraid to just run it immediately when his guys come back. So he'll have
Yeah,
two opportunities there we can review. On
yeah.
Parker's side, it's like this is just how it goes. Like there's so many mouths to feed. Looks like he didn't play Michael Thomas, but that wouldn't have
Wouldn't
helped him
help.
anyway. Like it's
Yeah.
just also Derek Carr looked like absolute garbage. Like
This is
Alave in
just
1-4.
what he gets for trying to trust. Like his entire offense is just the New Orleans Saints, which it works if it's a good offense in the NFL. Like the Minnesota Vikings, you can kind of have two or three of their guys, but for New Orleans, I mean, I it just doesn't feel good. I don't know.
It's just he has a lot of guys. It's interesting because some of his best pieces are like, oh, it doesn't feel great to have him. Like Christian Kirk's been solid for him. This is the first time
Yeah,
Godwin's did anything. Alvin Kamara obviously is back now, but I
it
don't know,
really
it's
just
hard
comes
to.
down to the Eckler injury. Like it's a bummer
Oh
for
yeah, I
him
forgot
to
he
have
has
lost
Austin
him.
Eckler. He'll run him on by, and we'll see next week. So that should open up his ceiling a bit.
Yeah,
Maybe his team's getting better. I chose him a little early. He has been getting dumpstered though. But we'll check the standings next. We can talk asterisks. Jumping in, the upset of the week. more of
For real.
Jasper's team flopping than Connor's team going off, but secures a W off the big performance from the Hawks on Monday night. It was gonna be close if they had just an average day, but instead they decided to go nuclear with 29. What a performance by them. And
Yeah.
Connor's team overall, some get right games for a few of his guys.
Just a lot of duds on Jasper's side. I mean, if Nico Collins didn't go off, he would have been in the 70s this week, which is kind of what I was expecting from his team around draft time. But it wasn't Nico Collins that I was expecting to be the blow up guy. But we'll see what happens. It's got Terry on the bench there that he can slide in. So all is not lost for Jasper. There's still a lot of pieces. Just an unfortunate loss. You gotta have you get these goose eggs every now and then.
Yeah, a lot of game scripts that weren't going his way. Some that you didn't expect to be the game script that didn't go their way. So he'll bounce back. He's still 3-1. Connor jumps to 2-2. A magical 2-2. Not many in there. And another 2-2. Jamie secures her second win going up against Andrew. This is just kind of what we're seeing from Andrew, like some ping pong. Another 86-point week. George Kittle is just such a letdown. That
I mean,
sucks.
this is just what George Kittle does. Like if both Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk are playing, he is not involved. Like that's how it's been. It's crazy to look at his numbers when those two play versus when one of them is out. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it's good to hold on to him because if one of those guys does miss, fire up your George Kittle is probably going to get 15 plus. But outside of that, it's
It's
tough to
rough.
play him every week.
On Jamie's side, Jamie might have the best receiving core in the league. Obviously, we'll see some shake up and Andrew will get Cooper Cup back in theory at some point, but my God, I think all these guys are top 10. No, top 13 for CD, but that's a good core, but the running backs are a little shaky at the moment, but she did what she
Yeah.
needed to. She's got to be
She's got
happy.
Brees Hall on the bench. I like her running backs. They haven't done great, but I mean, if you look at the defenses that Ramondre Stevenson has gone up against, you can see why it hasn't necessarily been great. I think he had Jets and then Cowboys, and then
Yeah, Philly,
yeah, like he's doing
Jets, and
fine
Dallas.
against
Yeah,
Miami and Philly, but yeah, Jets and Dallas is tough,
he's got
but
another
it
hard
should
one, but maybe it lightens up.
should open up.
He'll get there. Good
Yeah,
W again. Only two people in the league, 2-2. And there we go. Reese, who's just got to be the most unlucky. The game of the week. Seth takes it. I don't know why I bet against Seth. The team is just so good. All there. 4-0 for him. Share the record. Another most points on the week. And just
yeah. I
big
mean,
number.
there's not really much to say about Seth's team. He's just got studs all around.
That feels good. On Reese's side, the 48 from Christian McCaffrey. Luckily for him, he doesn't have to be kicking himself for not playing Justin Fields 35. Wouldn't have mattered, but I mean, you can't. That's like the thing as I was saying. It's like you just can't be upset. You lost. It does suck. You're at 1-3,
That's just
but
fantasy.
he put
That's
up
all you can say.
148. Yeah,
All you could say is it's just fantasy, man.
you did waste a 48.7 week. Generally, a weak league winner. It's crazy that he could have had a 35.9 too, and couldn't pull it out. He did have a lot
It's
of
just
bumps.
Jalen Waddle. Yeah, what has Jalen Waddle done all year? It feels like this
Nothing.
guy was going so
55.
early, and he's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I didn't like drafting the number twos of where they were going, but Devonta Smith is at least returning some draft capital, but Waddle has just done nothing. And he was such a high pick. It's so hard when the running backs are now going off and Tyreek Hill is
mm-hmm.
obviously always a threat to take it all too. So good work by Seth though. Obviously Deshaun Watson's sitting out. That fucked Andrew's team too, but not 40 points wise. But the Ravens just feasted, so oof.
Yeah.
Good week, fun week in the books. Somehow on to week 5. Let's check into the standings here. Had a lot of requests to acknowledge there, but yeah, me and Seth sitting at 4-0, and then we got Jasper, Brad 3-1, only 2-2 and 2 teams. And look at the stack of 6 1-3s.
Yeah.
So no
I
one's
mean,
out of
this
it.
is just what it comes down to. The door is wide open because really any team can go on a losing streak. Any team can go on a winning streak, you know? I
Yeah,
think like
you
yeah,
can get
it's
hot
pretty
for sure.
crazy.
It should make for an interesting push down the stretch because
Mm-hmm.
the all bottom 1-3s is nuts. Jumping into points four here. This kind of makes
Marginal
sense.
mains and Burrow babes, you know,
Yeah, they're
definitely
down there
outperforming their points scored.
getting a little lucky. You can see kind of the bad beats in Reese and Eddie. If we go points allowed here, we really capsulates you as well. So what is this? 1-3, 1-3, 1-3. Brad's just been performing, even with people putting up numbers against him. But then 1-3, 1-3,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, "Oh,
I'm
Steph, you haven't
curious to
played
see have
anyone."
any
But
of the 1 and 3 teams played Andrew yet? That's the question.
that is the question. But I don't know the easiest way to
I
get
don't know.
there.
Yeah.
Ah, here we go. Lego team schedule. He beat Parker, so
That's
Parker
the
didn't
only
play,
one, yeah.
and then he lost to Jamie. Yeah, because a bunch of low scores. So that should turn around for
That's
Andrew.
crazy, man. He's putting up 80s and then the 171 out of nowhere.
That's nuts. That he
I'm so
needed
nervous.
a correction for sure. On unlucky guys, Reese obviously gotten super unlucky, especially because he's up there in points for. You've gotten unlucky as well, and so is Parker too with the matchups. Just a lot of points against.
What are you gonna do, man? That's just fantasy.
That's how we do. All right, and then the long-awaited Week 5 power rankings. Some people say the Week 5 power rankings are the best. Here they are.
I've been hearing it all over.
Everyone loves the Week 5. Seth with a little more recognition. We missed this one. He was at 3. I think I might have ranked him at 3. He's up at the top for me. You still have me higher. But what's the thought there?
Yeah, I honestly threw the rankings together a little hastily this week, but I like both of your guys' teams. I think both your guys' teams have great players on them. It's pretty hard to rank one above the other. Although with the DJ Moore move now from Seth, I think I would probably go him over you.
I did say we would look at it. I don't know if we've taken a big peek, but he is the number one. He claims the number one.
Yeah, I
It's
mean
just a
this team
sexy
is just
lineup.
disgusting, you know.
It's just gross. James Cook, such a good pick. On the one he was drafted. Yeah, fifth
Fifth
round
round,
for,
yeah,
what,
running back
top
12,
12. Yeah,
number
that's
one running
great.
back. Brandon
Bijan,
Ayuk is also a steal.
Brandon Ayuk, come on. I mean, yeah, just
Raheem
load.
Mostert, another steal. Like all of his guys just hit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you put in the research and you get the guys. You know?
We'll see as it holds up, getting into the colder months, some injury months, but he's got some guys who can slot in on any given basis. Even if Raheem Mostert starts to slow down, it's just the stack
He's
finally
still
paid off
got
for him.
them. Yeah.
It's good on him. It's good. And we can jump into Eddie's team too to see what his looks like. Obviously, he gets a great QB. I never would have thought QB would be the problem, but he now has maybe some trade possibilities, although Lawrence has been suffering. So
Yeah. He tried it this week offering me Trevor Lawrence. I was like,
smart
nah,
move.
man, there's a reason I didn't ask for him in the trade that we did earlier.
Yeah, he's kind of been a letdown. He's got Ken Walker on a bye, so in theory he wouldn't have to play Dalvin Cook, which should be good for him. There's a lot of like
There's
questionable
potential there. Yeah.
names.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of good teams at 1 and 3.
Yeah, I agree. 1-3, the place to be.
Yeah. Some say that's where you want to be. I hate to be a 4-0 right now.
It's scary up here. Everyone's targeting you.
Yeah.
Connor's ranked pretty low, but he's got a lot of points. What does he look like?
I mean, his team is just so ravaged by injuries. I think he had another injury this week.
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah,
Friar
Fryer.
Muth. Oh no. Good
He
Lord.
finally dropped Mike Williams, though, but not Nick Chubb.
And there's another one. He could definitely swing around Kirk Cousins,
Yeah, I like I said, I offered the house for Kirk Cousins, and he did not want to do it.
which is wild because he loves to and
That's
he's
what
playing
I was
great.
telling. I'm like, you're never gonna start this guy, and he's like, nah, man.
Well, no, see that's where you're wrong. He should start him this week, but next week, 14 or 15 points. Guaranteed 30 something. I don't know what Carolina's gonna step up in 2 weeks apparently, but that's just what happens.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the
he needs to make the moves in order to put together a lineup because he's
Yeah,
starting
he needs a
Keenan
running
Allen
back.
and Devin Singletary. Like, what are we doing?
Oh my God, he doesn't even have bye week. Yeah, oof, wouldn't be me. I'd get rid of this guy and get some other waivers. He's got Zach Ertz there.
Yeah, we'll see.
It's a team big upset against Jasper. Obviously, it can work. Um, we'll review everyone. I think when we get in there. Anyone else you want to talk about? No mega movers besides Seth.
Yeah, no mega movers. Just the only big discrepancy we have, I think, is the max one. I don't know if we want to talk about that real quick, but I think that's
Yeah,
the only
let's
one where
jump
we're
into
more than
Max.
one off.
That's a good discrepancy. Oh yeah, I was pretty hurtful. I think the hardest are the bottom four. Like I feel fine putting the 5 through 8 really anywhere, I think you can back it up, but the bottom always feels so bad because it kind of hurts to be down at last.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean plain and simple, it's like I just don't trust. He's got a stack of 3 people I don't love, but is that enough? Maybe it is at that point. Oh, T. Higgins is hurt. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I just like I feel like it's there. Like it's almost there. And I've been talking to him. I talked to him because he has so many running backs, and I think there are so many teams that need a running back. Like he
Yeah,
can trade Jerome Ford, he can trade Rashad White. These guys aren't great, but they're at least startable compared to what I was starting last week with or 2 weeks
true,
ago.
true.
So I mean, it just feels like he has to make a move for some wide receivers,
Yeah,
but
I'm
who
probably a
knows if he
little
will.
a little harsh. I guess he only put up 127, but
But he had Monty on the bench.
oh, true. And Tyreek Hill only got 10. I mean, that's never gonna happen again. So
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. It's definitely a team I don't want to play, which that in itself should probably be raised up higher. So
yeah,
all right, jumping into the matchups here, starting with the 4-0 Seth going up against the team we just spoke about, 1-3 Jamba Jews. This should be a good one. Obviously, Seth's team is daunting in itself, but after reviewing Max's, I do think he's a little low on the rankings, and he has some guys he likes or I like.
yeah. I agree. And this is a tough week for Max. He finally gets his first win, and then he has to go up against one of the behemoths of the league. But that's just how the schedule plays out. You don't get to choose that. Yeah, he's got who does he have on by? He has Jerome Ford on by, who I assume would
And
be in there over
Rashad,
Traylon
yeah.
Burks. Yeah, so
He's got his kicker too. D Hobson winning him games.
yeah,
D Hobson winning him game.
Hoff has been winning him game. Yeah, the slot in of DJ Moore does look great for Seth, so it's not much to say about that. I think this is pretty easy for me.
Yeah, I think we'll both take it. It's so clean. Like the player rankings, this is just such a satisfying, like
Yeah,
no one above 15. And 15 is Ayuk, who looks awesome. Like I think he might have missed a game.
15 is
Like
Ayuk who missed a game. Yeah,
yeah, like it's averaging 20.3. Like, oh.
like look at the average of his guys of his starting lineup that he has right now, 169. Jesus.
Yeah, that's insane. I think he was just weak at flex. Like I think he had to play Drake London. Uh,
Yeah, before I traded with him, he had Gus Edwards in the flex.
there you go. So he's all in on that Baltimore, and the stack finally came alive last week too. So that's yummy. That is Cheeto dust on the fingers. Yummy. We're both taking Seth.
Yeah.
This is a championship lineup, so there you go. And he's got youth too. Like he doesn't even really, you have less running back injury concern because you just have young dudes. So Good on him. Jumping into the next one, someone that we ranked 12th and someone whose team we like a little bit more. Connor taking on Eddie. Eddie, heavy favorites by ESPN, given 21.6 there. And I don't think I dispute that. Obviously, Connor will slot in Zach Ertz, who's probably a decent play, but
Yeah.
he does also have Marquise
There's more
Brown.
guys out on the wire who are better than these dudes too. Like, go pick up wide receivers, Connor, please.
Go check that wire. Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to be holding the IR guy. That's at least a spot. And
He's got 3 tight ends on the squad. Go.
yeah,
This is again easy, Eddie. His team does look pretty solid now. It's a good week for him to have the Ken Walker bye. I don't think he'll need that solid second running back. And I mean, he's like I said, his team looks solid with Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith in there.
yeah, it's a good stack to have. It's been a couple of AJ Brown games. It seems like Jalen Hurts likes to spread it around a little bit. So
Mm-hmm. Like they're
maybe
both
throw him
viable
in.
in pretty much all games. It's not like one or the other. It's one explodes and the other gets 10 to 15.
Yeah, it's just who kind of takes off and gets that touchdown on a big play.
Yeah.
We're both taking Eddie. That seems
Yeah.
maybe we'll get surprised.
He surprised us last week. He took down Jasper.
That's true. That's true. There is that element of he needs the guys to underperform on his opponent's team more than likely than his guys explode, but you never know. 170 inbound. And jumping in to the 3-1 Stephon D's nuts versus 2-2 Burrow Baves. Now rocking Brock the cock Purdy. This one really tight. It was in discussion for game of the week. Might have been had there not been another standings more appealing matchup, but kind of a tough one on paper, which is really good for Jamie, who's historically had a pretty tough run in the league. She's got to be
Yeah.
feeling good about the team.
I agree. I think Jamie, this is probably the best season Jamie's put together so far. Her team looks great. Grabbing Puka Nakua again, that could just be a league winner. We'll see if Cooper Cup comes back this week, and if he does, what their role together is, because that is something that's very it's perplexing the fantasy world at the moment. You know, well, how do these two coexist?
It will be interesting. I like it's just all about the Cowboys D. They have a tough matchup. You can't take them out because they're averaging 18.8 points. They're averaging a great running back day. But, that's been a lot of cheeky points that Brad has gotten. Because outside
Yeah,
of that, there are some question marks and, consistency
that's
flags.
yeah. Like after week one, I thought Jordan Addison was just going to be a buzzsaw in that Minnesota offense, but it seems like he's still just not overcoming KJ Osborne, and the Rashi Rice play is also like it'll be good if he gets a touchdown, but the touchdown could go to anyone in Kansas City. So
Yeah, you gotta imagine he'll put in McLaughlin in some form if Javante
is
Williams
Javante Williams
sits.
playing?
Not based on ESPN's projection of him, but nothing's been ruled yet.
I'm
It's a
surprised
hip
he's projected
bruise.
that much.
Yeah,
Thought
I
they
mean,
would
I
get
guess,
Samaje Perine anymore, but I guess
yeah.
yeah.
He
Who
looked good.
knows?
He looked good. And Bradley
Yeah.
does not have fear when it comes to starting the lineup. He picked up Zeke, put him in, threw him away. Not even on the roster anymore. Jonathan Taylor will be the big one. I don't know if he plays. I haven't heard anything, but everywhere is projecting that he is. Same with Cooper Cup. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
people,
know
yeah.
more. It's only Wednesday at this point. I mean, we should know more as the week goes on.
Does your decision change if Taylor is out? Because I kind of think mine
Mine
does a
does
little
not.
bit.
I'm taking Jamie all day in this
Oh,
matchup.
because you're taking Jamie straight up. Okay. Okay, I respect it. I think the consistency of the wide receivers could definitely be an issue for Brad, who's got a lot more boom and burst there, especially if Jonathan Taylor doesn't play. But I'll ride with Brad. I think the stack will be good just to give us a little bit of
Who are the Bills playing this week?
they play
Jackson.
Jacksonville in
Oh,
London
in
too.
London.
Home team in London against a home. team, Jacksonville.
Yeah. I don't understand how that works, but I guess they
Can't give
couldn't give to Jacksonville 2 home games in London.
Yeah, just screw over season ticket holders in Jacksonville. But yeah, obviously the big one, that stack. Jamie doesn't have a stack anymore. Did she have a stack ever? No. Jamie never had a stack.
I don't think so.
All right, jumping in, 2, 1, and 3 teams. This is not a great one on paper according to ESPN, but Andrew, the we versus the 1 and 3 fighting Deans got that out there eventually. How are you feeling in this one? Just punt it away. Good Lord.
uh, it's one of those ones where coming into this, based on the past, I should have beat this guy in 3 weeks out of 4, but he gets Cooper. Like, if Cooper Cup is playing this week, I am freaking terrified. Like, I still am terrified of this matchup. Like, this is one that I shouldn't be worried about, but I am so nervous for. Like, I hate watching football this week because if I lose, this is gonna feel real bad.
Yeah, I guess the projection's a little inflated. I don't know when Andrew checks the ESPN app, but I feel like we always look and he doesn't have a guy in. So, uh, does he waver?
Yeah.
I feel like I see him wavering though. So maybe he just likes to let it sit in there, get in your head a little bit. We'll see if Cup plays. Again, all that's happened is they activated him, so he has 21 days to get into a starting lineup. So we'll see if that happens right now.
Yeah. And I'm sure the first game he comes back in, he's not going to play 100% of snaps. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. So, yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those games where, for some reason, I feel like he could just pop off. But I'm sticking with myself. I gotta.
Does it change your mind when you realize it's the DJ Chark revenge game?
Oh, man. Whew. That is
That's
wild. That's a
that's
tough
gonna be
one.
scary for you.
Yeah. That will be
I'll go
scary.
you as well. I don't think it changes if Cooper Cup goes in. I think you've got a nice little roster construction rebuild thing going on that's helping you out,
Yeah.
especially in this matchup.
It feels more balanced than what it was because I feel like I was pretty wide receiver heavy early, and just being able to get a running back, and Jalen Warren is decent enough. All the guy does is get 6 catches a game, which is all you needed in PPR.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see how your shiny new toy does. He looks good. Looks like
I'm hoping for
a
like that.
little
And that's what it
medium
comes
there.
down to for me is Anthony Richardson a league winner? Yes, I'll make the playoffs. No, my season's already over.
All right. And jumping into another 1 and 3 versus 1 and 3, we got Reese going up against Parker. This is a great game. I've been hating on Parker's team all season. I still think it's a lot easier to just assume Reese wins this one, but the projections keep it tight there. He does have to start Josh Dobbs, but Reese isn't locked in at QB for the most part, although I think Jordan Love's been doing fine. He's player rank 4, so
Yeah, he has
yeah,
been
we'll
doing well
see.
enough. I think he's only
Obviously,
got one dud on the
CMC.
season.
Yeah, CMC is the one to watch out for. But if Alvin Kamara just gets 1,000 targets, maybe that cuts away a little bit. So
Damn, all of Parker's guys on the road except Josh Dobbs. That's kind of
good
wild.
lord.
Starting Alan Lazard, I don't. Does he have a lot of guys on bye?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a big bye week for him.
Which will be nice. He gets to rest Eckler.
Yeah,
Unfortunate to go up against the CMC owner here, but I think for the long-term health, you do want Eckler to have one more week where they're not
yeah,
playing a team.
yeah. That's good for Parker, and he'll need him coming back. He'll need him to have all of those touchdowns that Austin Eckler always gets if he wants any chance of making a run. But that being said, I don't know if you can take Parker here. I'm going with Reese.
Yeah, I think historically through the first 4 weeks of the season, Parker has gone up against some big point scorers, and I don't really see that changing. Reese's team is it's competitive. It's worthy this year. The points are coming in all different directions, but
Yeah,
he's constantly scoring. So
it's it seems consistent to me. And he's got Brian Robinson there against Chicago, so that could be just a massive week for him. He's been playing well even against other defenses that aren't Chicago. So
yeah, yeah. What a steal for Reese there. That's really making
yeah,
up for the kind of lack of production elsewhere. And then he does have Metcalf, Mike Evans on the bye, so it evens out in terms of strength. I'll take Reese as well. Um, don't know how you cannot. Poor Parker. All right, jumping into our game of the week.
Tuk-tuk snap, tavadish commandier.
Me at 4-0. I think this is the first time I've been 4-0. Going
who
up
would have seen
against
that coming?
Jasper at 3-1. Yeah, can't believe it. This really, was super close to being a 4-0, 4-0, but Jasper couldn't produce.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of the bye week bug, starting some questionable dudes, so can't be at my full strength. Looks like Jasper doesn't have anyone on bye, so he should be at full strength, but I think it should still be a good one. Really testing the depth of my running backs with suddenly four of them in. We'll see if Javante plays.
See if Javante plays and then see if Jonathan Taylor plays because you got Zach Moss down the bench, who at the
That's
moment
true.
looks like who you would be slotting into.
That is
I guess
true.
see if Saquon Barkley plays. You got a lot of question marks there at running back.
I don't feel confident that was the discussion around who the game of the week is because I'm not greatly confident. I also have to start Sam Howell. So, but maybe someone who picked up a QB will drop a QB.
Got
And I
Zach
think,
Wilson for you there.
yeah,
He's
that's
going up
tough.
against Denver, so if there was ever a week,
Maybe that's a better matchup. I'm not sure. I don't know who to do. I think I might have had him higher in my waivers, but didn't go with it. On Jasper's side, I mean, he's 3-1 for a reason. He's
yeah.
got some great guys I didn't expect to be great,
The
guys who
Nico
everyone
Collins
expects to
drafts
be great. It's a
that
phenomenal
that
pick.
might be like when did this
Steal,
guy go?
ninth round.
Ninth round, yeah, for a top seven guy. Wow.
Yeah.
No, there is no way. I thought that there was no way.
I
And
thought
and
he
having come,
started
oh,
trolling at some point in the draft. I
that's
thought he
true.
was just randomly selecting guys, but that's fantasy, baby. Great pick. CJ Stroud looks legit. I mean, this is terrifying. If it wasn't myself, I would easily pick Jasper just looking at the teams with no names. But I
Yeah,
gotta pick myself.
that does make sense.
Out of
I will
respect.
go the other route. I will take Jasper.
Yeah, he's got a good team, and I am on bye, unfortunately, with my two number one
Yeah,
overalls.
good
So
to get it out early though.
yeah, and
Once the
good to
guys
be
start
four
getting
and
hurt,
one. Not bad.
Jasper is saying the same thing. I'm sure.
Yeah, true, true.
Yeah, a lot of good matchups this week. I'm excited for football. Maybe not tomorrow night, but Sunday should be good.
Yeah, God, especially because I might have a lot of stake in that game. I do currently. I could lose, so maybe I take him out just so I don't lose before the week's begun.
So you're
But
only sad for one day instead of 4 days.
I do. It is, I speak a lot about not getting too tilted, but if your guys put up nothing on Thursday night, I am
That is tilt worthy.
aggressively tilted on Friday and Saturday. It is. It's not great, and then you end up winning. So we'll see how it goes. But
Yeah.
that's been a good season. I think it's competitive this year. It's active, so
Yeah,
it's
there's a
fun.
lot of good teams out there. It's been fun for sure.
We'll see how it is. Any parting words?
Good luck to everyone out there. Again, first quarter of the season down. 3 more to go. Let's go.
There you go. All right. Have a good week. Have a good weekend, everyone. We'll see you next time. Peace.